Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we will address the topic Legend Soul Editor. As anticipated in the previous video, this tool can be further customized thanks to the editor on the Viscount site that you can easily download and that is available for the various operating systems, both Windows compatible and Apple compatible. Once downloaded in a very simple, intuitive way from the page dedicated to downloads, you can simply install by clicking either on the executable file of the Windows or on the DMG of the Apple system. And once precisely launched, you will find this screen, as you can see on the computer. A very intuitive and very simple screen with the menu at the top, indicating various points of intervention, where you can make changes, and then a whole series of parameters on which you can access to find your ideal sound. Obviously, as you see here at the top right, we've already done that, simply by clicking on Connect. The instrument is connected to the computer, and from this point on, you can act as you like to find your sound. The first page that we are faced with is really the one dedicated to the various models of organs. The ones that you can act on are obviously the ones with phonic wheels. You see we have a number. At this time, a number of models, depending on the years of production of these organs. Each of these organs can be modified to your liking and taste. Let's start off to make our examples tonewheel from the 1930s, and let's go right away and see everything that can be modified. You can modify the volume of the pedals, the level of the click, the volume of the click, both at the level of the two manuals, plus the specific level of the percussion. And in general, you can modify the equalization of the click at the level of frequency and gain. On the right side instead, as you can see, there are all the drawbars indicated, and you can act on the volume of each individual drawbar. Let's take an example on the first drawbar. While I play, you will be able to hear the volume changes as it lowers. Obviously, once you've decided on the volume, pressing on Store this configuration on that 1930s organ model, in this case, will be saved directly to the instrument. So every time you play that model organ, you will have this configuration set up. Also, as you can see, as the last setting wanted by our friend Joe DeFrancesco, was this key contact punch that is programmed so that at the moment of pressing the keys, the sound comes in more disruptive. And this is also adjustable to have the attack that you most want. But let's turn then to the reverb page, as was brought forth in the video introducing the instrument. There are different types of reverb that you can set on the instrument, both ambient reverbs and those built at the time on the original electrophonic organs to be able to simulate ambient reverbs. And of course, in addition to choosing which reverb you prefer on your instrument, you can also tweak and refine the final effect to your liking. As you can see, we have in our drop-down menu, the first two items are the custom items. So you have the ability to save two custom presets on your instrument that you can recall in real time and precisely. Once you select which of the two custom go to the reverbs item, select which type of reverb you want to use. Let's take small room, for example. And here you have the option to change the reverb time. Let's take an example, let's play. By modifying the reverb time, you can hear how it lengthens, and you can also modify the high dump, that is the closing of the tail that precisely fades out faster. You can always work on the equalization at the level of high and low. In addition, you can also modify at the sound level. And then there is always the option to choose in the sound chain where to place the reverb, whether before the amplifier or after. Once you have selected all the changes, you can decide whether, with the Store button, to save them already on the instrument. So with Custom 1 or 2, but also you can decide to save on the computer a dedicated file with this custom. So then you can program different ones and load through the Load button every time you want to recall a specific custom to be inserted for different needs. So you can recall it through Load and then through Store, set it on the instrument. Also, the chorus vibrato can of course be possible to be modified at will. Let's quickly remind you that there are two preset vibrato types on the instrument that refer to the years of production of the old electrophonic organs. You can choose to use type A or type B. And the interesting thing is that you can apply them to the various organs available from different years. So you can use type A that dates back to a certain historical period, or with newer organs, with newer tone wheels. Of course, you can also customize our two-chorus vibrato. We select 1 as always, or we can select Custom 2 as a variation. Again, you'll be able to see there's the Store button to save the change already directly to the custom of the instrument. Or choose to save to a file the changes and recall them thanks to the load whenever you want. So you can already prepare a number of different custom ready to be used. Now if we go to quickly see where you can work on, obviously we have the level or volume of the vibrato and the chorus. But then we can go to interact on the right side. You see this long list. You can work on the frequency modulation, the depth of the frequency modulation, on the amplitude modulation. Again, you can work just on the chorus with equalizing the frequency, the gain, and the chorus mix. That is, the ability to mix or not mix the chorus to the clean signal. So let's continue our journey of discovery of the editor by dedicating ourselves to the effects page. As we saw in the video presentation on the side panel of the lower manual, there are a number of effects that can be activated in real time and also modified in real time. But also here, obviously, through our editor, we can go and modify some of the characteristics of the various effects. Again, easily using our drop-down menus. As you can see, you just have to decide which of the effects you want to modify. For each effect, for example, let's take overdrive. On the right side, you will find the menu with the various presets. And also here you have the Custom 1, the Custom 2, where you can, as you see, go and modify the various options. Obviously, we're not going to explain every single parameter. But as you see, for each effect, you're going to interact on very specific parameters. This is as far as the overdrive is concerned. But if we open, let's go to see the wah. Again, you can change the resonance, the control. These are different functions to modify. And also here, obviously, once you choose the custom option, once you've made the various changes, you can either save them on the instrument directly or save the file with the changes you've made to prepare different ones, and then load them on the computer and then on the instrument, depending on the need of the moment. Now we come to probably the new thing in terms of what you can do with the amps. So the Rotary amp page is also here. If we go to see our drop-down menu, you can see all the various ready-made presets available on the instrument. At R, you will find precisely the Rotary. At A, these are the static amps, so not with rotating horns. And also here we have our two customs to be able to interact and modify the instrument directly. Let's take our Custom 1. And as always, look at all the possibilities you have. We refer now to the Rotary. You have a whole range of possibilities to modify the speed of the bass basket, the treble horns, both the speed at which the rotation starts in fast and the slow down times. You totally have maximum management from this point of view, as well as you can intervene also at the volume level. You can also change the high, medium, and low frequencies. In addition, you can also change the rotary volume here and mix it with the direct line of the instrument, that is the pure sound, without precisely the rotary effect. To finish, as you can see, you have the ability to manage the microphones freely, to position them as you are most comfortable, both those of the horns, and you see, you can position them 360 degrees. You are totally free, both at the drum level, precisely. So you can indulge at the level of positioning as you see fit. Again, you can save directly to the instrument, save the file, Then prepare several of them and call them up whenever you need them by reloading them on the editor, and then importing them to the instrument. It is also possible to intervene at the level of the static amplifiers. So again, you have two customs that allow you to go and modify a whole series of parameters. You can also choose the type of cabinet, and you can modify the high, medium, and low frequencies. You have a whole series of options on which you can intervene, and obviously save and then for use whenever it suits you best. Let's take a practical example. Let's take the click volume on the manuals now that is set obviously to a position. Let's call it flat to 0. Now I have brought it to the maximum 12 dB. Now I bring it back to 0, obviously. Let's take a concrete example also here on the chorus vibrato. We have already prepared a custom 1, in which we have obviously exaggerated values. As you see here, we have even set them to 0, while on custom 2, we have done a little bit of the opposite effect. Don't take this as an example, it's just so you can hear a little bit of the difference of how far you can still get to modify the sound. So let's start with custom 1. This is obviously the clean sound. Here now with custom 1. Going to put on custom 2. Let's go back to custom 1. Here is the original sound to give you an idea of the clean sound. So you can see how effectively you can go from one extreme to the other. Let's take an example on effects as well. Let's take delay as an example. Let's do a quick demonstration here as well. As you can see, once you choose the effect on the right precisely, we have the various presets dedicated to that effect, with our custom on, which you can precisely go to act in real time. Let's again take a custom 1 turn on our FX on to activate the effect. As you can see, if you change the dial on the side panel of the lower manual, it will also change the editor, because obviously it will act in real time. You can do this directly from the machine as well. So we are on our delay. Here we have. Now here again, we can edit to our liking. We have removed the effect almost completely. We can act on the feedback. And also here on the tail closure of the high damp. Now we can, as you see, also act the dry-wet function that is on, the ratio that there is between the clean signal and the affected signal, so we can send more clean signal than the effect, or vice versa. Also, here we will be able to intervene on the volume values, as we said before, to modify the low frequencies, or the high frequencies. So you can also act on the chorus mix, that is, the mix between the direct signal, the clean signal, and the vibrato. As a tradition, we also make an example of the customization possibilities of the rotary amp department, rotary amps or static amps. We always have our two options here. Our drop-down menu that shows us all the available presets. The first two are precisely the custom ones. We start with our custom 1. We then choose which type of amplifier we want to go and modify, whether the rotary ones or the static ones. We take our rotary, and here precisely you can see, as I said, how much you can act. You can also act on the brake mode. Let's not forget. So choose where the horns should stop. The front, rear, automatic, or random positions. the Memphis style, in which then decide whether to keep the bass basket stopped. But here we have a whole series of changes, as you see, of speed, etc. You might be curious about more microphone placement. Let's put on slow, and let's remove the effects. Now I'm going to go and modify the miking of the horns. I'm going to make some completely random changes. Same thing for the bass part as well. As you see, I am also exaggerating here, placing randomly, just to give you an idea of what objectively you can do, and it is really a lot. If we wanted, we could also modify the static amplifiers. We can choose the type of preamplifier again with the high dump, and a whole range of options. Again, we can choose to intervene on the various frequencies. Truly, you can indulge yourselves. I think we've said everything about this editor, the potential it offers you. So all you have to do is buy the instrument, download the editor, and have fun not only playing, but also finding your ideal sound. Bye.